Welcome to Recap King. In this video, we will explain Soul Snatcher. This movie tells the story of a fox spirit getting a quest for immortality in the human world. Will he become immortal? Let's find out in Soul Snatcher. Soul Snatcher begins by showing a fox playing, but due to its carelessness, the fox almost fell into the abyss. Now the fox's life is on the brink because it is holding on to the side of the cliff. Then came a little boy who tried to help the fox. The boy managed to save the fox, but unfortunately, he slipped. The fox, in turn, tried to save the child, but his efforts failed and eventually, the child fell and died. The fox was very sad because of the child's death. 500 years later, the fox demons are about to hold a large gathering in a cave. All the fox demons who attended the meeting looked excited, including Shisan, one of the fox demons who his people often ostracized because they were considered too bad. The nine-tailed fox's leader said that a fox demon could become immortal by gathering a soul elixir contained in the human body. The fox demons can get the elixir by tricking humans. If the soul elixir has been taken, then the human will die. The fox demon leader revealed that a white elixir would be seen on the 15th of next month. The white elixir was a special elixir that would only appear once 1,000 years. It is said to be special because the fox demon who gets it will instantly become immortal and get the 9 tails without bothering to collect other elixirs. Shisan is then assigned to find the white elixir by the fox demon leader, his grandfather. Not only that, he is also equipped with a dagger that can kill all creatures. However, Shisan, who was stubborn, was desperate to steal his grandfather's magic heirloom and left immediately. His grandfather then ordered Shisan's teacher to monitor and help him get the white elixir. The teacher of the fox demons then expressed his concern to the leader about the young fox demons who often failed to get soul elixir and were killed by humans. Long story short, Shisan finally arrived in town and decided to eat chicken at a food stall. A young man named Zijin came with a donkey and wanted to ask him something, but because he was engrossed in eating, Shisan then pushed Zijin away violently. After the young man left, his grandfather's heirloom suddenly showed signs of a white elixir located not far from that place. On the other hand, a priest seemed to be showing off his magical parchments that could trap demons. At one point, the priest accidentally put a protective seal on Zijin's body when he passed by him. After a series of misfortunes that befell Shisan and Zijin, the two of them finally arrived at the forest. At the same time, his grandfather's magic heirloom has returned to show signs. Since there was no one there but the two of them, Shisan immediately realized that the white elixir was in Zijin's soul. Shisan and Zijin then decided to rest in a hut because the night was coming. Shisan, who used to be very rude, now turned soft on Zijin to trick him so that he could take the white elixir inside him. Zijin tells Shisan that he is going to the capital to take the royal exam. He also said that he was looking for his older brother named Daoran and intended to present a donkey to his brother. But now, the donkey has disappeared somewhere because of Shisan's carelessness. Night came. Zijin, who was exhausted from running all day chasing the donkey, finally fell asleep. After making sure Zijin was asleep, Shisan took out his dagger and was about to kill him. But then Shisan's teacher came and prevented him from doing that. His teacher suggested several safer ways to deceive humans than to kill him outright. The next day, Zijin woke up and was very surprised that the donkey was there. Zijin thought that it was Shisan who found the donkey and was very grateful to him. The friendship between the two of them began to form. Intending to take Zijin's white elixir, Shisan decided to accompany his journey to the capital. On the way, they arrived at a village that was very quiet and seemed haunted. They were startled by a man who suddenly appeared behind them, claiming to be the innkeeper. Finally, they decided to spend the night at the inn. It turned out that many students were studying for the exam at the inn, which made Zijin even more enthusiastic about studying. In the evening, when Zijin was walking down the inn's corridor to look for Shisan, he met the innkeeper who asked him to look at the pool's surface. As Zijin's gaze shifted to the surface of the pond, suddenly, a long tongue pulled him into another dimension. Zijin was astonished and then surprised by the innkeeper, who turned into a big frog demon. The demon then tried to attack him with his tongue, but his attempt was thwarted by Shisan, who came just in time to help him. Shisan and Zijin dodged the tongue attack of the very agile frog demon with great difficulty until finally Shisan sacrificed his life and was swallowed alive by the frog demon. The frightened Zijin immediately fled from the place. Unexpectedly, it turns out that Shisan and the frog demon are friends. They deliberately devised a ploy to scare Zijin as part of a plan to extract the white elixir from Zijin. But unexpectedly, Zijin returned with gunpowder and a torch. Because Zijin returned, Shisan finally entered the frog demon's mouth again. Inevitably, the frog demon took out a suction technique and sucked everything in front of it into its mouth, including the torch and gunpowder that Zijin had brought. Not long after, the toad demon's mouth exploded, and Shisan was thrown out. Shisan, whose body was weak from being hit by the explosion, revealed his true form to Zijin. But Shisan's teacher immediately acted by making Zijin faint. Shisan was on the boat with the frog demon in human form and his teacher the next day. Shisan's teacher suggested that he take Zijin to Giant King City because they don't know whether the elixir inside him is white or black. In Jiankang City, there was someone who could confirm this. Because Zijin already knew Shisan's identity, his teacher suggested making up a story to gain Zijin's trust. Not long after, Zijin woke up. Shisan then reveals his true identity, that he is a fox demon, and makes up a fake story. The innocent Zijin finally believed and agreed to go to Jiankang City. Arriving at Jiankang City, Zijin was amazed to see the beauty of the city decorated with colorful lanterns and many beautiful women. A boy approached them and said that someone was waiting for Zijin somewhere. Zijin thought that what was waiting for him was his brother, but he also doubted whether his brother would come to a place that offered worldly pleasures like this. Zijin was told to enter a room, while Shisan waited outside with his teacher disguised as a woman. Inside the room, Zijin met a gorgeous woman named Yinglian. He was fascinated by Yinglian's beauty and graceful movements. Like being hypnotized by a magic spell, he almost fondled her, but he came back to his senses and instead apologized for being presumptuous. According to Shisan's teacher, Yinglian is a ghost who can see the color of the human soul elixir. Yinglian tried to approach Zijin, but it turned out that Zijin's body had a protective seal that made it difficult for her to approach him. Zijin falls in love with Yinglian after their unique encounter and promises to marry her after he passes the royal exam. Yinglian was touched because there was a human who truly loved her. When Zijin was sleeping in his room, Yinglian then told Shisan that she couldn't see the color of Zijin's soul elixir because there was a protective seal on his body. Shisan's teacher thought that Yinglian was useless, then tortured the female ghost. Zijin and Shisan finally arrived at the capital. Before taking the exam, Zijin still took the time to ask the people where his brother was, but no one knew. Unexpectedly, Shisan turned out to register as a test taker so that he could continue to be by Zijin's side. Long story short, Zijin and Shisan also took the exam that lasted until the early hours of the morning. Many examinees died due to fatigue and stress, so the supervisors had to secure the participants because they were considered disturbing the order. Yinglian form as a spirit comes to Zijin to cheer him up, but she accidentally makes Zijin and Shisan's spirits come out of their bodies. In spirit form, Zijin saw his brother taking the exam and burst into tears. But suddenly, Daoran turns into an evil spirit who always annoy the examinees so that they fail. But Daoran did not recognize Zijin and pulled him into the spirit world. Daoran turned out to be long dead. His spirit wanders because he always fails the royal exam, even when he is not young anymore. On the other hand, Shisan was undecided about taking Zijin's soul or saving his life. He finally decided to enter the spirit world to save his friend, but Shisan is caught in the siege of curious spirits. Suddenly, in an increasingly precarious situation, the nine-tailed fox's magic heirloom emitted a very bright light that made Daoran recall his true identity and memories with Zijin. When Daoran had remembered everything, the heirloom was destroyed, and all the curious spirits disappeared as well. Before disappearing, Daoran told Zijin that the fox demon who had always followed him wanted his soul elixir. After taking the exam, Zijin went to Yinglian and proposed to her. Yinglian initially refuses and reveals her true identity as a ghost. Zijin was also very surprised, but he was already in love with her, and the feeling wouldn't just go away. Yinglian then invites Zijin to run away from that place because Shisan and his teacher are watching them. On the other hand, Shisan knocked his teacher unconscious and chased Zijin and Yinglian, who fled to a bridge. Shisan tried to stop Yinglian and Zijin, but Yinglian didn't stay silent and attacked Shisan. Shisan and Yinglian's battle was inevitable. Zijin is still defending Shisan, even though Yinglian has told him that Shisan only wants his soul. Until finally, the fight stopped when the toad demon stabbed Yinglian. With the last remaining strength she had, Yinglian tried to escape with Zijin, but the wound was so severe, and she disappeared. But before that, Yinglian thanked Zijin for loving her and saving her. Zijin became very angry at Shisan after losing the woman he loved. They then fight, and when Shisan has the opportunity to kill Zijin, he can't do it. Shisan said that he would not take Zijin's soul elixir and instead, he would destroy himself with a dagger. But before Shisan could do that, a dimensional door was created behind and pulled him inside. Shisan turned out to be pulled back into the fox demon encounter cave. His grandfather and the priest put a protective seal on Zijin, who had been observing Zijin and Shisan. His grandfather explained that Zijin was the boy who had saved Shisan 500 years ago. His grandfather then said that white elixir can only be obtained with a sacrifice based on sincerity, and only Shisan can take the white elixir. Hearing this, Shisan rushed back to Zijin. Not long after, Zijin and Shisan met again. Shisan then apologized to Zijin for lying to him. Unexpectedly, Zijin was no longer angry and forgave him. Even he sincerely gave his soul elixir to Shisan by stabbing himself. Shisan then dragged Zijin's body through the bamboo forest with his head down languidly until he finally met the real Shisan. It turns out that the Shisan who met Zijin was Shisan's undercover teacher. The teacher then told Zijin that his soul elixir was not white. Everything they did was in vain. Shisan was instantly angry at his teacher and attacked him. Even though Shisan knows that his teacher's knowledge is superior, he never gives up and continues to attack him. His teacher then turned into a six-tailed fox demon, and his attacks became even more dangerous. Shisan became more desperate until finally, he fell on the ground and was seriously injured. With one deadly blow, his teacher intended to kill Shisan. Towards his death, Shisan thought of Zijin again and tried to touch his soul elixir. Immediately, Zijin's black soul elixir turned bright white, and Shisan turned into a nine-tailed immortal fox. Shisan, who was now on the same level as the leader of the fox demons, was not an opponent his master could conquer. Shisan then managed to beat his teacher, and when he was about to kill him, he again remembered Zijin's words asking him to become a good fox demon. Shisan let his teacher live. Shisan, who is now equal in strength to a god, then pleads with the leader of the gods to resurrect Zijin from the dead, even though it means he will lose all his powers. His request was granted. Zijin came back alive, but he didn't remember anything about Shisan. Zijin wakes up in a bamboo forest in a dazed state. After that, he returned to his house. One day, while he was in the forest, Zijin met a fox whose leg was injured. Zijin took the fox to his home and nursed the wound until it healed. The fox turned out to be Shisan, who had lost all his powers and became an ordinary fox. Although sadly, Zijin forgot him, Shisan is happy that Zijin can come back alive. The kind Zijin takes care of Shisan sincerely, and they now live side by side like a pair of friends who turn over a new page. The film ends.